Hi, my name is Mary Ellen and welcome to Moody Blooms. So today I purchased a couple of succulents from a local nursery. A little crazy, a little overgrown. So what I'm going to do is teach you how to make several plants out of a overgrown plant that you buy from the nursery. I love this succulent. It's beautiful and it's really easy to propagate. So what I first start doing is cutting off the really leggy pieces right here. So I cut down where I want the new piece to grow. So a couple things. I can cut off right here where I will plant this into the soil and it'll actually grow a new plant. This also can be planted as well. You want to make sure you dry these out for a couple days, that way they can callus over, and then stick them in some soil and water them. So a couple other things here. We have this leggy piece right here, which is kind of crazy. So what I normally do on these is I cut off about right here. That way I can plant this in. And then this piece right here, I'll probably propagate a couple of these bottom leaves. And then I can also stick this in some soil and a new plant will grow as well. I'll cut back this too. And then there's another leggy piece right here. You can see right here where it's getting kind of long. We want them to stand up and grow nice, beautiful plants. So this one actually is going to be two plants. So I'm going to cut off this right here where it meets the other one. And a new plant should actually grow there as well. And then I like to try to straighten out the bottom of the stem. That way it goes in the soil a little bit better. And then hopefully something grows out of there. And you'll also see sometimes they'll have leaves that fall in and we'll have little babies already on them growing. And as you can see right here, there's some little babies growing in there as well. And then because this one still has a lot of babies in the bottom, I'm going to behead this large flower right here. Beautiful, nice and healthy. So I can take these off gently, propagate these leaves. You can watch my propagation video on that. So just enough so that it has room to get into the soil and root. Sometimes I put a rooting hormone in there, a growth hormone, sometimes I don't. Beautiful. And then what I'll do is I'll cut back any of these like long leggy pieces that are just kind of sticking out. I'll cut them up straight. That way a new flower can grow in a good direction. You can also stick this piece in soil as well. That's why succulents are so amazing, because they are just the gift that keeps on giving. So this one was just sitting in here, which means it probably broke off at some point. So this is probably already calloused over. So I probably could just set that in soil. Some of these leaves right here are kind of wilty. I won't propagate the wilty ones. We want a healthy leaf that we can propagate. But that's another nice little plant. So then, so far, oh gosh, this wasn't even in the soil either. So this one I could either plant back into the soil in here once I clean it up a little bit and get some better soil in there. But either way, I could pot it back in here into a nice little plant, a nice little pot, just as is, take it out and put it in some better soil, and this will all grow and flourish. Or I could even cut some of these other pieces off. But look right here, I have all these other plants that I can get from this one 250 plant. I have all these other plants that I can now pot, and then I have all these leaves that I can propagate later. So let's go on to the next plant. So this one right here is really great, really overgrown, kind of crazy looking, and we want to make sure there's a nice healthy flower at the top. So this right here has a nice little top. So what I'll do is I'll take off a couple of these leaves so I can propagate just this top. So this little piece I'll put in soil. It'll grow after it's calloused over for a few days. Even this little stem can be put in to propagate. And then a lot of times you'll see when you buy these plants, there'll be little babies that have already started. They've already propagated themselves. So the leaf will fall off and a new little, see that cute little baby on there? And the stem, the roots. So I'll go ahead and put this in some soil as well. A couple other babies. If they're pretty attached, I just leave them in there just because they're already doing okay. If I can get them out, then I will. Then there's like a ton of leaves on here that have fallen off. So one of them has a little baby on it. So I'll just put that in some soil. But I'm also going to cut back these large, kind of crazy ones. So I'm going to cut it back where I want the new flower to grow, which is kind of in the center of the plant. And then all of these can be cut off. Take off these bottom leaves, let them dry out for a few days, depending on the type of plant it is. Stick that in soil, a new plant will grow. Same thing on this one as well. So we can propagate all these leaves on the bottom. You can cut off this piece, stick this in soil once this bottom is calloused over, and then plant this one as well. So several plants that we're going to get from these as well. So this one is coming off to the side. I'm going to cut that off and hopefully we'll have a new growth out of that little end right there as well. So I'm going to cut off here. I'll put this in soil, cut off here, probably here. Propagate these leaves, which I'll show you how to do in another video. You can check on the Moody Blooms YouTube channel. This one's great. Cut it off here. Perfect. So again, we have all these other little plants that we can now plant from this one overgrown crazy plant. So we'll cut back this one a little bit too. So here's another plant that I purchased that's super overgrown, and we're going to cut this back and propagate these. So we're going to cut off right here where I want the new piece to grow. So I have this huge stem. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to take off some of the leaves in the middle where I want the end of the top plant to be. So I'm going to take off these bottom leaves, plant that in soil after it's dried out for a couple days. Same thing on this, just way too leggy. Cut it back right where you want the new plant to grow in. And then this one we can either plant at the bottom, cut it off and plant here. Probably take off some of the bottom of these leaves. I'm going to let that dry out. Actually, I'll probably make this into two different plants, but this one is kind of stuck in there. Same thing. We'll cut off this right here. We'll cut off right here at the, and a new plant should actually grow right out of there. So we'll cut it off just above that point. So hopefully we have some new growth out of the top and the side. We'll see. And then take off a couple leaves to propagate. You can plant this one. We'll probably go up a little bit higher. And then there's a couple more that we'll do that on. And there's all these little babies that are already sprouting in here. There's some other little leaves that have already propagated. Perfect. Sorry. There you go. And then we'll cut back here as well. And then here. I know it kind of looks like I've devastated this plant, but we'll have new growth and all these extra little leaves that have fallen off. And a lot of times there's other little babies in there. Sometimes there's even different plants that have grown in there from being next to. All these have little babies growing on them. That's a pretty good size already. So we'll put that in some soil. There's a whole nother little plant. We'll put that as well. So yeah, so out of this one plant, we have this main plant. I'll cut that off eventually too. But then we have all these other plants that we can plant. So many. So for this one 250 plant, 225, we have all these plants. Great. Do the same thing on this bottom one. Propagate this one. Great cute little plant. Nice and healthy. If you have any questions, please let me know. Anything you want to see. Thank you for joining us on Moody Blooms. Have a great day.